Hi everyone, and welcome to the 31st T-Chat. I'm so happy to be coming here and speaking today about the timeline of around September 14th to September 21st. This is going to be the last T-Chat for Virgo season. Can you believe it? It feels like we were just here talking about the last week of Leo season. It's crazy how Virgo season has come and gone, and I'm not surprised that it's kind of just slipped in and slipped back out because it is a mutable sign, and it is the perfect energy to come to an understanding and to actually channel some of the more difficult, deep and introspective energies that we have right now. So as you're listening to this T-Chat, hopefully right when it's coming out on Saturday, really come into the understanding that there might be a bit of a last chance here in the last week of Virgo season to really get your routine together, to really get your mentality together, to really get the planning, strategic, mundane idea of your lifeline together, and to start implementing these ideas to basically prove to yourself that you have the ability to, even under difficult circumstances or with a lot of tension above, as is in the sky right now, we have a lot of conflicting transits going on, that even under these circumstances, you have the capability to be doing well and to be productive and working towards your own aspirations. I actually have a lot of good things to say about this oncoming week because thank goodness we have Jupiter finally moving direct in Capricorn. This has been tough these last few months of having Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. First of all, Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn, and second of all, it's retrograde, which just really gives us all maybe this looming feeling of discord or this looming feeling of, uh-oh, have I messed up? Have I done something wrong? Have I made a wrong turn? Am I even in the path that is right for me? A lot of us have been asking those existential questions. A lot of us have been propelled into existential crisis even. And during this week, I really think there is relief for that, as it feels like we finally understand the higher plan or the higher idea. And maybe it's not completely implemented yet in this week, but it's really coming through consciously finally. Some of us will maybe start feeling a touch more hopeful or start feeling a touch more in the driver's seat of our own experience. Or even if you've had a lot of autonomy and independence, maybe that becomes less worrisome. I've had some interesting conversations. We were actually talking on the Discord. If you guys have not joined the Discord yet, be sure to do it. I'll link it below. We just have a wonderful, fun community over there who just really builds each other up, and we love it. But we were talking on the Discord about a few interesting things. And one of those things was that as we strive for more and more freedom, we can sometimes get overwhelmed by that, and we start to be concerned about the accountability or the responsibility required as we get more and more freedom, as we're afraid to maybe mess up, or we're afraid to trip up or harness that freedom in a way that does not actually work towards our ultimate goals. And that is kind of where we're at also with Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn and moving direct, is how have we harnessed our own freedom? Because Jupiter in Capricorn is actually kind of a constraining energy. It is more so about control and more so about feeling a lack of freedom. So that's definitely an interplay. I feel that a lot of us are either striving a lot for more freedom, or those of us who have gotten that or who feel very in control of our own destiny, especially over the last few months, maybe we've felt concerned about that, or we felt like, oh my gosh, now what do I do? It might feel like a void. And I want to say that that's not really freedom. We can kind of trick ourselves up sometimes. And that's really what the most mature part of Virgo is, especially from like 20 to 29 degrees of Virgo. We really get into this incredible ability of discernment and ability to make the right decision. And as we move towards Libra, it's more about the decision made and a judgment or something very clear decision being available. So it's kind of like Virgo discerns, whereas Libra decides. And that's where we're getting to. So as we move through this week, I think that we will start to discern more and we'll start to sort of understand more. Again, we were talking in the Discord, and As we've also had Mars go retrograde in Aries, I've kind of understood that it is kind of like discernment, like fireworks. And it's kind of going to be like the success that we have in discernment, or the success that we have in understanding what really fits together, what harmonize, what is on our more embodied path. These are really going to become like fireworks, okay? And awaiting the period of time as Mars moves to go direct towards December, we are going to really sort of be shooting off and seeing right in front of our eyes this very big glow and this very big, very clear, very in your face correlation between how we've discerned now and what that time period is going to look like. So from now until like beginning of December and calendar new year of 2021, we are so karmically connected in, and we are making some very important decisions, it feels like. And a lot of us are maybe feeling pressure with that, or we're feeling like, okay, is what I'm doing now a bit outdated or worn out? How can I modernize what I'm doing? Because we are going to have a new idea of modernity coming in at the calendar new year. So we're all catching on to that as well. And this is the time where, yes, that healthy brain that we built back in Cancer season, that healthy body that we've been building since then, these things are now hopefully coming into a place of discernment. So I will say, for those of us who are still lagging a little bit, or for those of us who are still out of control of our physical space, our physical body, our health, that we have this last week really. Libra season is kind of really going to start to lock these things in, as it's going to add another cardinal element to all this cardinal energy we already have, Mars in Aries and the triple Capricorn conjunction. So it's very powerful, and it's extremely executive, and it's extremely decision making, and it does not need to be operating out of health or out of mental well-being or out of emotional stability, outside of those things. That's kind of what we have really been working on for the last few months, is getting ourselves healthy enough to really be in control and to really make the decisions that benefit us most. So but it's really not too late either. We have this week to really catch up and to really understand what we actually want, to understand what life is actually providing us right now, to really take score, to really start to adapt to the score that we want. The amount of adaptability we actually have, and the ability to then push that forward onto a cardinal and direct path, is large right now. I mean, that is there. Like, if we need changes, if we need something different, if we need a new idea, those things are going to be there, as I also think that the universe will really provide answers to any questions that have been unanswered. It feels to me that questions are really answered this week. It feels to me that also, anything that's wrong is going to like stick out like a sore thumb. So any, dietary things, and these are, I'm talking more mundane. So the people that we're holding space for every day, the food that we're eating every day, the time that we're sleeping, the time that we're waking up, all of these things, if they're not right, are going to stick out like a sore thumb. So if the food is wrong, you'll probably get like a stomach ache. If the sleep schedule is wrong, you'll probably feel completely devoid of energy all day. If the relationships are wrong, you probably just won't really want to be around those people. I think that it's going to be super clear, because I think that the universe does not want to beat around the bush. The universe does not want to skirt around these topics. It's, earlier this year and building up to this year, it's been a bit more subtle. It's been a bit more symbolic in how it's shown these things. But if we haven't been able to essentially take the hint, I think that it will become very direct and in our faces this week, because it wants to show us being deliberate. We want to really be deliberate in our lives with these energies. This is not a time where we're just taken by the waves of existence, or where other people are just pulling us along, or where we're sort of being controlled by another. I don't feel that that's the case for many people at all right now. And if it is, there's an opportunity to change it. Here, the universe wants to see what it's like when certain people are deliberate. And those people who do well with being deliberate right now will be rewarded and will have status to show for it as they move through the rest of this year. It's a status shifting time for a lot of people. It's a sort of showing you what you're made of period of time, and also a time of beauty and a time of really perplexing ingenuity for some people. But it's not just that. It's like there's a promise of innovation, or a promise of new healthy standards and new purpose that is promised but not yet delivered at this time. That's sort of what I'm feeling, promised but not delivered, because there's this sort of time that we need to go through over the next few months where we see a possibility now, perhaps, and the steps that we take or the way that we deliberately contribute to that is then analyzed to see if the delivery is right for us. So what this means in a nutshell, in more layman's terms, is that we are really forging our own destinies right now. We are really holding, along with Creator, the tools that impact our lives. And now I think that we've also kind of been through the karma, or we've been through the experiential notion of what the past was. So I think this is kind of a karmic resetting time too, before these planets go direct, before this super rare triple retrograde conjunction all gets direct. I think when they go direct, and again when they move into Aquarius at calendar new year of 2021, we have sort of a karmic zero time. So that's an incredible download. I'll talk more about that in a separate video, but because I'd kind of like to dive into that completely. So with that in mind, you could actually have something very chaotic. Or maybe you already have. Maybe this whole year has been that for a lot of people, because it's really trying to get us caught up on where we are so that we can choose how we want to move forward. So yeah, definitely not a time to just continue with the old abusive relationship or to just continue with the old addiction. We have to remain contextual, but this is really a time where the universe is reaching out with a hand, and it's going to do it again around the calendar new year of 2021. And it's reaching out and it's saying, okay, there's a new chapter, there's a new journey, there's a new experience that is not so much affected by the past. And this is tricky for some people because it's not like a get out of jail free card either. It's not a pass, but I feel that a lot of people have kind of been through the ringer in a sense. You know, it's like we've